Hi, it's Sue and Sammy from Aging Joyfully. We're going to talk to you about bad weather since Hurricane Helene came to town in Florida. We are in Georgia, and we were expected to be hit quite hard from the effects of Helene, but personally, we did not get that much. We heard a lot of people did lose their power. Thankfully, we did not lose ours. But I wanted to talk about some preparation you could do in case of any storm. There's some simple things you could just have in place all the time so you don't have to scramble at the last minute to be safe. A few things that we do is we try to always think ahead about everything. We like to keep enough food where we won't go hungry. We like to keep food, some canned food or packaged food like tuna packs, crackers, something that you could eat if you lose your refrigerator and all your food is gone. Just simple things like peanut butter. We always have fruit and vegetables if you do lose your power. In our 30 plus years of marriage, we have lost power quite a few times. We've been through quite a few different types of storms as we've lived throughout the country. Lived in Buffalo, and thankfully we didn't have major snowstorms then, but we've lived in Tennessee, where we lost our power during a snowstorm there. We've lived in South Carolina, where we lost our power in the summer. We've lost our power or water through different circumstances through the years. So we just naturally like to prepare. So food and water is number one, and then of course heat. And we did lose our heat, I remember when we lived in Pennsylvania. At that time we had a gas fireplace, and that kept us warm through the night. Although I learned later that you should always have a carbon monoxide monitor that doesn't plug in, because it's dangerous to run a gas fireplace without a carbon monoxide monitor. I didn't know that at the time. So simple things to do is think ahead. Always have water in your house that you just keep for emergencies. It could be gallons, could be the individual bottles. We have water for our CPAP. We usually have several gallons of water for that we just buy ahead. And that's water that we can drink. We also have 2 rain barrels. And I mentioned in a previous video, we can't drink that water, but if for whatever reason you can't flush your toilets, if you have a rain barrel, you can use that water to flush your toilets. I think people on septic tanks may have the issue of not being able to flush their toilets. I know when I lived in Indiana with my parents, we lost our power for a week in the summer, and we were on a septic tank, and so we were unable to flush our toilets. We had to go to a gas station to get gallons of water to flush our toilets periodically. So having the rain barrels for that, keeping bottled water handy, filling up all your containers, bathtubs. Some people fill up a washing machine with water if it looks serious that you are seriously going to lose water. And then, I don't know, I would think you have to boil that water if it's in a bathtub or a washing machine. I don't know how you could drink that water. Maybe you could buy pills or tablets. I've never gone to that extreme. We just have bottled waters, and I fill containers. Now that we have 2 dogs, it's also important to have enough water for your pets as well. Have enough dog food for your pets, toys and things. And they get agitated if there's any kind of sedatives or pills that they take. I know our 2 dogs. Sierra's been pretty good through this, but Sammy does not like rain. She's a pampered princess, and so she's been handling it not as well as Sierra. So she's been reverting, going to the bathroom in the house, and being much more aggressive as we've had the rain, and I don't know, maybe she just senses all the changes as I've been trying to prepare. Okay, so food, water, lighting. I showed some of our emergency lights. We have several of these emergency lights that I showed in a short. I'll attach those shorts. They're magnetic, so they go on our back door. We also have one that plugs into our computer. It's a bulb. It doesn't take much energy. And then we have some bulbs that have little hooks that we can charge with solar panels that I don't really have a lot of those charged right now because it has been raining and I haven't kept up with that. But if you keep up with these things on a daily basis, you won't be so pressured to do it all when a storm is coming in. I'll have to admit, I was the least prepared for this storm, so I'm glad we didn't lose our power or anything, because we've had so many things going on in our lives with, we had our leak, our toilet leak. I'll attach that video, and we've had Steve having an emergency root canal, and I had Lyme disease, and Sammy had a urinary tract infection. We've been having one thing after another, so I'm so grateful that this storm was not very bad for us, that we were very, very lucky. We kept our power, and we just got a lot of water in our yard, but overall we've been extremely lucky. Right, Sammy? Extremely lucky. Right, Sammy? Were we lucky? Can I get a kiss? Were we lucky, Sammy? Were we lucky? We were lucky. We were very, very lucky, right? So it's important to pay attention to your dogs as they get agitated and they sense they first sense it from the storm and then sense it from your anxiety as well. So it's important to give them special attention and remind them that they're safe. So we talked about food, snack type foods. If you have a baby, it's important to, if they're on formula, to stock up on that formula. I know how expensive it is, but try to keep it a little extra in the house. I know we lost our power when our son was less than a year old, and we had to take him and our two huge dogs to my brother and sister-in-law's one-bedroom apartment. That was fun. And as we drove over there in the snow, we slid off of the road and ended up in a ditch. And some people who were just out driving around for that purpose, they were driving around looking for people in ditches. They pulled us out. Now, another thing to keep might be a little bit of cash in your car. My father always kept $5 way back when $5 was a lot. For emergency money, you might want to keep 20, 50 in your glove box. I know people can't afford to do that, but if somebody needs to pull you out of a ditch, you may want to have a little bit of cash to send them money or give them money as a thank you or offer. I mean, most people won't take it. Most people just do it out of the goodness of their heart. They don't expect money when they're helping people. At least that was in the day. People help people. When I lived with my family in Indiana and we were snowed in for a week, our neighbors went on their snowmobile to buy us milk, and people generally help people. Today, I don't know if they're as willing to help. I just know we've had several times where we've had a lot of issues where people were more than willing to help us. That's what being a neighbor is. So we talked about food, water, spare money, medicines. If you do have medicines, when I did take blood pressure pills, I always like to keep a month's supply ahead. I didn't want to ever be pressured to buy it at the last minute if the drugstore said didn't have it or whatever, since it is very important to have a supply. And I know that's hard to do, but if you're able to do that, try to keep it a little bit ahead. So in an emergency, if there is a storm like this, like the people in Florida, you won't be able to go to your drugstore. Records may be lost, power's down, whatever. And speaking about power down, your phones, nobody knows phone numbers anymore. I have written down phone numbers and I put them on a bright piece of paper and put it in my glove box. And I've also have an address book that I've had for 20 years, which I know nobody has address books, but I went through it and put all the phone numbers of everybody in there, since I don't know anybody's phone number. And I realized one day, when I think my phone didn't work, I realized I don't have any phone numbers. So I put them in my address book, and I also put just close family on a piece of paper in my car. So thinking ahead, planning ahead helps you to not have stress in your life. I haven't done anything with our insurance. We know our insurance person's name. If anything happened and we couldn't get to our policy, we always could call our insurance agent and he could get everything. I mean, you may have to be quickly evacuated, so having a spare bag, if you have young children or pets or people on medication or elderly people, it is good to have an emergency bag ready to go when it's time. We've known about this hurricane for at least a week or two. They usually know well in advance, so that's plenty of time to pack a spare bag to do a quick evacuation like the people in Florida. I heard many of the people they were refusing to evacuate, and it said that if you're not evacuating, you need to take a Sharpie and put your name, birth date, and information with a permanent marker on your body, because they're saying you probably won't survive. I mean, it's pretty scary, but I wouldn't personally live in Florida with all the hurricanes down there. And then the cost of what I've heard, homeowners insurance because of these hurricanes, is just outrageous. So personally, we would never want to live in Florida. But there's so many other kinds of storms, like in Buffalo, the snowstorms, or the one time when I was in Indiana growing up, it was a summer storm. I don't even remember what it was. I guess it was just a thunderstorm that knocked the power out. I don't even remember because I was a kid, but it was out for a good week and we couldn't flush the toilets and had no food. I don't remember what we did. I remember being very stressful. Going to the gas station to get gallons of water is still in my mind, to flush those toilets. So to me, that was the most traumatic thing, more than not having food. Not being able to flush the toilets with 9 people living there, because there's 8 kids in our family and 1 had moved out. So we had 9 people in that house when we had no power. Okay, so remember, take care of your pets, take care of your elderly, take care of your young children, have food, water. You might want to have some activities to calm everyone down. If you have children, something they can do. Some books or puzzles, or just... I know everybody's hung up on electronics today, so if you lose power, you're probably not going to have those electronics. So something that kids can do, dogs can do, a ball, a toy. I showed my calming chair that Sammy just loved, that calmed her down. Everybody loves it. It swings in all directions, and it just calms everybody down. So that chair... she's been hyper because it's hard to walk her, and she hasn't been able to get her energy out with the rain. She's giving me a thumbs up over here. She's licking the thumbs up. I hope everybody's doing well and surviving this storm, and thinking that maybe there's some things you could do to plan ahead, as we have all kinds of weather. On our honeymoon, we had windstorms when we went out west, so those were kind of hard when driving. You couldn't see with... I guess it's like a dust storm with all the dust blowing, and when you got out of the car, the door would just go flying from the powerful winds. So there's all kinds of weather throughout the country. We've lived in many of the different areas with the different weather, the snowstorms, rainstorms, hurricanes, tornadoes. I mean, we haven't personally been in a hurricane, just had the effects of it, and we haven't personally been in a tornado, although we've been very close. When we lived in Alabama, we had quite a few tornadoes, and Georgia actually has quite a few tornadoes as well. So it's always good to be prepared. The weather seems to be getting more and more violent as I get older. I mean, I know there's been major storms that they've made movies out of, but it seems like we're getting them more frequently today than we have in the past. So even though we've had these violent storms in the past, it seems like they're becoming more frequent. Hey, she's knocking over our thumbs up. Sammy, you don't want to give us a thumbs up? You don't want to give us a thumbs up? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. She's in her sweet face. She's in her sweet face. She gets into her mean face. 7 o'clock every night. She gets so exhausted when she gets pretty mean, and she has to take a little nap. Right, Sammy? 7 o'clock nap. Your 7 o'clock nap. She still sleeps through the night after sleeping at 7 o'clock for her nap. She's already had her dinner, and she is ready to go. She loves making these videos, don't you? Sierra? Sierra won't be on camera, will she? Sierra will not show her face on camera. If you try to take a picture, she turns her face the other way. So it's hard to get pictures of Sierra. But Sammy knows everybody loves her, and she loves being the center of attention. She's the show person. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. Look for our other videos. We have so many on so many different topics. Hopefully Steve will be back. He's working hard, and he's feeling better. But with everything going on, he just has not had time to make any videos. He did do a short walking the dogs, and hopefully he'll come and join me for a long one day. But I'll tell you what. He's so busy, and he's just one thing after another in our house. I guess that's what happens as you age. Till we see you again, take it easy. I'm wearing the necklace I'm going to be giving my sister-in-law for Christmas. I'm trying them all out. Tell me what you think. Do you like this one? I think it's pretty nice, huh?